It's like, yes, it should be agreeing with you, because if you go to a store, like, you want the person in the store to be agreeing with you as well, right? You don't want somebody who's telling you no or off all the time. You want
No,
somebody
no,
who's
exactly.
nice, who's saying, yes, look, we've got this t-shirt here, we got that t-shirt here, or that costume, right? You want sort of that same experience. And I think that's such an interesting thing because, as you said, we share so much data with brands. They're not properly utilizing it to actually give me the experience. And then what am I doing? I'm going somewhere else to get the experience I'm getting. And if LLMs can give that to me, yeah, why would I? And this comes to your point, like, why would I ever go back to the website? And
Yeah.
then what happens with the website?
Yeah, and
You
that's an
know?
interesting topic I want to drill down because I've been thinking as well, like if you have, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it. Like, okay, you have, I mean, when you have the agent, what should I like? If you have your GPTs or like your chat LLM, and then you like you start to like, okay, it can shop for me, it can like browse and it can compare, and I can say just buy this. I mean, then you have a few different things that are happening here. Like one, I maybe never even ever miss or visit a website. I'm not going to go into that website ever. What is then happening with the UX and the front end and all of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you need it? Or
Yeah.
I mean, is it coding that is the most important? Then it's like the other one is like, how do you? I mean, I come a lot from like the customer engagement background. How do you influence the buyer? Because you don't need the fluffy stuff on the website. Fluffy, sorry if someone is like, but
Yeah.
building, but
Yeah.
you the experience. You can't interact with someone there. You can't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's not because like now a nice website is building a lot of trust, right? Also, like can I use this? And then will I like so I will know like how do you influence me? You need to reach me so I prompt in the right way, or you need to influence my model.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't know if we have another like, and what's happening then if the product is really generic, a generic product you're buying, will this be just for the e-commerce? What will happen for the e-commerce players? Will this be a race of price? Because what will happen if you take away all the front ends, more or less,
Yeah.
you don't have
Yeah.
very little front end cost. You only have like a back end and supplying and a distribution chain. Will the brands, like will Nike, for example, only sell themselves? Or
Mhm.
are they going to have resellers, but then you have an additional layer? How are they going to compete with the price here? Because if Nike only needs to build the back end, but and also like where will the LLMs actually go and search? I mean,
Yeah.
these are
Yeah.
things
Yeah. No. No.
that I'm
100%.
thinking about. And what will
And
happen with a lot of like resellers of brands? Will they be able to compete? Because what can you add on? What are you adding on like in the value chain? Where are your part in the value chain here?
100%. And this is it actually goes one level deeper of what I was imagining, but I love it because if I think it's similar just to maybe early years a bit of like SEO, whoever is first with being able to feed the right data with the semantic relevance and all this sort of, right? Everybody's saying your website needs to have an FAQ now because that's how LLMs operate and that's what you need to have for them to like read what your website is about better. Like if you can do that with product and you're like one of the firsts to do that, I think you might have a competitive edge to give, the context now and make sure the LLM is reaching your reseller website versus Nike Direct because you've actually give it that information of saying this is a running shoe for marathons versus this is a sneaker you use for your because they're all sneakers, right? Like LLMs could interpret sneakers to be all for running, but there are some which you shouldn't use for running, right?